I never thought the best day of my life would turn into the absolute worst. Last Saturday, I graduated from nursing school. It was a huge deal for my family. I'm the first person to ever get a college degree. To celebrate, my parents threw this massive party at their house in Ohio. We're talking the whole 9 yards. Extended family, my friends from college, our neighbors, all gathered for a big backyard barbecue my dad had been tending to since dawn. My sister, Jessica, who's 24 and 8 months pregnant, showed up with her husband, Mark. On the surface, she seemed so happy for me, even offering to help my mum with decorations. But with Jess, you always have to be waiting for the other shoe to drop. See, my sister has what I call main character syndrome. Everything has to be about her. I'm not exaggerating. She announced her engagement during the toasts at our cousin Ashley's wedding. She told everyone she was pregnant at our grandma's 80th birthday dinner, right after they brought out the cake. Her social media is a constant stream of over-the-top drama about minor problems, just fishing for sympathy. So the party's going great. Everyone's congratulating me, asking about the NCLEX, sharing hospital stories. I'm catching up with my friends on the back patio when I see her. Jess gets up from the main table, and she's walking towards us with this look on her face, a look I know all too well. It's her pre-meltdown face. She stops right in front of me, points a finger in my face, and says loud enough for the music to screech to a halt, "How dare you flirt with my husband all night?" The entire yard goes silent. You could hear a pin drop on the grass. She starts yelling that I'm a horrible, jealous sister, that I can't stand to see her happy, and that I'm trying to seduce Mark while she's pregnant and vulnerable. I tried to tell her she was being ridiculous, that I'd barely said more than hello to Mark, but she just steamrolled over me, getting louder and more frantic. She claimed she saw the way. I touched his arm and laughed at his jokes. My parents are rushing over, looking horrified. Mark is just standing there, looking like he wants the ground to swallow him whole. I told Jess she was making a scene and embarrassing herself, but she kicked it up a notch, starting to cry about how she couldn't trust her own family. And that's when it happened. Mark, who is normally the quietest guy in the room, looks up from the ground. His voice is cold and clear. "Jess," he says, "stop. You're the one who's been cheating." A collective gasp went through the party. Jess's face went completely white. He continued, "I found the texts on your phone 3 weeks ago. Texts from a guy named Brian. You've been seeing him for months." He looked straight at her stomach. "And based on the timing, that baby probably isn't even mine." Jess started screaming that he was a liar, but Mark pulled out his phone. He started reading the messages out loud. They were explicit. They talked about meeting at hotels while he was working late shifts. One message was from her to Brian, worrying about the pregnancy and what she was going to tell Mark. It was like a switch flipped inside me. All the years of her selfishness, of her ruining my birthdays, of making every family moment about her, it all just boiled over. She ruined my one day. The one day that was supposed to be about my accomplishment. I shoved her hard. She stumbled back, and I grabbed her by the shoulders, shaking her and screaming that she was a selfish, toxic liar. I was careful to avoid her stomach, but I was furious. She started hitting and scratching me, pulling my hair. We were in a full-on brawl in front of 50 of our closest friends and family. My dad and my uncles had to pull us apart. My mum was sobbing. Through her own tears, Jess was clutching her belly, accusing me of trying to hurt her baby. Mark just watched the whole thing. When my dad finally dragged me away, he turned to the crowd and announced, "I'm done." He told Jess to find her own way home, walked to his car, and drove off. The party died right there. Within 30 minutes, everyone was gone, making awkward excuses. My graduation party, the celebration of the hardest thing I'd ever accomplished, ended with a cheating scandal, a paternity bombshell, and a fistfight between sisters. The screen fades to black briefly, then reopens on Chloe, who takes a sip of water. Update. 4 days later. Chloe. The day after the party, I sat my parents down. I told them, flat out, that they were part of the problem. For years, their policy has been to keep the peace and present a united front. Whenever Jess did something awful, they'd tell me to let it go, that family harmony was more important. When she ruined Ashley's wedding, they told me I was being petty. When she hijacked Grandma's birthday, they said I was just jealous. I told them that their refusal to set boundaries had enabled her behavior to escalate to this point. This wasn't just about my hurt feelings. She had humiliated our entire family. My dad started to defend their parenting, but my mum just broke down crying. She admitted she never saw how deeply it was affecting me, and that she was so focused on avoiding conflict that she let things get out of control. I told them I appreciated the apology, but I needed to see real change. I said I wouldn't attend any family events with Jessica until she issued a public apology to every single guest from that party. She needed to admit her accusations were false, and that she was sorry for the scene she caused. My parents talked privately, and when they came back, they agreed. They told me they were banning Jess from all family functions until she did it. That night, they called her to explain their decision. Predictably, it did not go well. Jess accused them of abandoning her in her time of need, blamed her actions on pregnancy hormones, and then hung up on them. The screen fades again. Chloe's expression is now more somber. Update: a few weeks later. Chloe: Mark meant what he said. He demanded a non-invasive prenatal paternity test. The results came in yesterday. He is not the biological father. He kicked Jessica out of their house and told her he was filing for divorce. She's now 38 weeks pregnant, with no money, no home, and nowhere to go. She called my parents, sobbing, begging to move back in. They asked me how I felt about it, and as much as I'm still furious with her, I couldn't let her baby suffer for her mother's mistakes. I told them to let her come home, temporarily. I made it clear that my boundary still stands. I will not have a relationship with her until she takes accountability, but her baby deserves a safe place to land. So my sister is now living back in her childhood bedroom, down the hall from my own. My parents say she just cries all day. Apparently the biological father, Brian, is married with 2 kids and has blocked her number. He wants nothing to do with her or the baby. My parents are walking on eggshells. I've been staying away, giving them space. My home, the place I came back to so I could build my future, has become a house of wreckage. The screen fades one last time. When it returns, Chloe looks older, more tired, but also more at peace. Final update: 1 year later. Chloe: It's been a year. Jessica gave birth to a beautiful, healthy baby girl named Lily. Mark even showed up at the hospital, not for Jess, but to make sure the baby arrived safely. That was the last time he saw either of them. Their divorce was finalized about 8 months ago. Jessica never apologized. The ban from family events is technically still in place, but it's a moot point because she's never left my parents' house. She works part-time at a department store, but she's shown no real ambition to get her own place. It quickly became clear that she was struggling with severe postpartum depression and was unable to properly care for Lily. So my parents, in their late 50s, applied for and received legal custody of their own granddaughter. They are raising Lily. The stress has aged them 10 years. They love that little girl more than anything, but they're exhausted financially and emotionally. Jess is still trying to force Brian to take a paternity test through the courts to get child support, but he's fighting it every step of the way. My relationship with my sister is non-existent. We're civil when I visit my parents to see them and my niece, but we don't talk. She's crafted a narrative in her head where she's the ultimate victim of this story. In her mind, everyone overreacted. I help my parents with Lily whenever I can. I babysit, I buy diapers, I contribute where I can. That little girl is innocent in all of this. But I've held my boundary with Jessica. I refuse to pretend things are okay. Our family isn't fixed. It's just rearranged. We're a collection of broken pieces, living in the quiet aftermath of an explosion she detonated. And I've accepted that some things can't be put back together. You just have to build something new out of what's left.